Okay, so let's talk about the pain finding process and see if we can so I see Heath is up on his video, Cam. Okay, so let's talk about pain. Finding pain. Why is pain important? Okay, and then we're going to practice it. I'm going to get some of y'all on the phone, and we're going to just kind of role play. So role playing is a lot of fun, and I'll tweak y'all, and we'll see if we can just kind of get you guys better and better at the pain process. Okay, so just in general, what happens is you have there when you walk into somebody's home, you've got two systems. Okay, two systems is sort of the fork in the road. Okay, so you walk into a home, this is the home, and this is you. You're walking in with your little bag and your ATM ready to rock and roll. So when you walk in, you can go down two paths, one of two paths. The first system that you can walk down is the client sales system. Okay, so maybe some of you have experienced this. So what's the client system? The client system is to create bond and rapport with you. In other words, they're going to make you feel good. They're going to invite you in their home. They're going to give you water. They're going to joke around. They're going to be super nice to you and just kind of blow you. It's kind of like a spider that's lulling you into her web. Okay, this is the client system. They're nice. You sit on it, and you're thinking, oh man, this is rocking. I love this, right? And then the client, what they do is they schmooze you for your rates. Okay, and how do they do that? Well, when you start going into why they sent it in, they start telling you stuff like they tell you stuff you want to hear. They know what you want to hear. They're getting smart these days, and they know what you want to hear. So what they tell you is, well, Alex, the reason why we sent this in is because I want to make sure my family doesn't have to worry about anything. They can stay in the house because I love them, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. I want them to at least stay in the house so they no longer have a mortgage payment. I want to get the whole house paid for, and man, I'm ready to do something right now. Okay, now inside you're doing a happy dance because you're thinking, woo, man, they did the pain process for me. They're telling me exactly what I want to hear, and you're thinking, oh, this is a done deal. I'm going to put all my rates out there because, and they say, just give us some options, show us your rates. And so you're furiously on your smartphone. You can't get a rate out fast enough, right? And you give them a couple, three options, and you are like, man, this is done. You're already counting the premium. You're already spending the premium. You're like fired up. You're thinking, I mean, I get to go to Dairy Queen after this and give me a peanut butter parfait. You're going to reward yourself because you already know it's a done deal, okay? Until you hear those famous words, they steal your rates, and then what they do, the first part of this process is, well, they tell you they want to think about it. Think about it. They give you the think about it. They tell you, you know, Alex, these look great. Okay, this is how they do it. They let you down easy. They compliment you. You know, Alex, you are one of the best, if not the best salesperson that has ever walked into our house. You are the most knowledgeable. You've got to be the nicest person we've ever met. In fact, man, next time you're in town, just come on by for some coffee. We think you're awesome. And then they tell you, but we need to think about it. This is a big decision for us. We need to think about it. And so I'm sure you understand, don't you? We need to think about it. And then they usher you out of the house, right? And then you leave, tail between your legs, right? Tail between your legs, and you thought you had a done deal. You're feeling terrible about yourself, and you never want to come back again. How many of you all been there? Raise your hand in your own mind. It's hilarious. Every time I talk to an agent, when they get to think about it, this is exactly what happened. You know, they tell them how great they are, then they send them out the house. And then the clients, they're doing their happy dance because they stole some more rates. Because the last 5 insurance agents they did the same thing to, now they got all kinds of rates, and then they're going to determine whether or not they can even do anything. You know, I mean, because they're just making a logical sale, they're trying to compare. They're assuming they're going to be alive, right? They're assuming they're going to be alive. Well, not everyone's alive. As you know, when you call no lead, the person's already dead, right? So the fallacy for them, you know, there's all kinds of bad things, but this is how they steal rates from you. This is how they kick you out of the house and make you feel like crap and make you feel like, you know, you're lower than, you know, a pregnant ant, okay? So you get to choose their system or you can choose our system, right? What is our system again? Just to remind you, it's bond and rapport, right? It's finding pain, right? It's the upfront contract, okay? It's the fulfillment step. And then it goes into the post-sale. And then you're done. Now you get to go to Dairy Queen, okay? This is optional. This is the optional 6th part of compartment of the submarine, which is the Dairy Queen compartment, okay? When I started the insurance business, I was 128 pounds. I'm not going to tell you what I weigh now, but I worked off about 400 calories of that just this morning. That's why I'm kind of dressed up in my stuff, because I had to drop my son off at summer school, and I came here right away. So I don't think I'm smelly, but Caleb's here, so Caleb can attest to I'm all right, maybe. I don't know.
He's all right.
Okay, good. Thank you, Caleb. And then I got my Golden State Warriors old school logo. Y'all see that? Because I'm a Golden State Warriors from back in the Al Adams days, Nate Thurman, Jamal Wilkes, Rick Barry. Okay, so I'm fired up about the Warriors. Anyway, DQ. This is how you know you made it. You go to DQ, man. Anyway, so you can choose which way you want to go. In my opinion, my humble but accurate opinion, you're probably better off using our system, the ATM system, the ATM submarine versus their system, okay? But here's the beauty. You get to choose. You get to be in control. You guide the presentation. The flip chart is a planned conversation, okay? It's a planned conversation. Notice, the part is planned conversation, not a presentation. I almost kind of hate that word presentation. You're not presenting anything. All you're doing is letting this guide you with the right questions to ask the client, right? This guides you to ask the right questions. So we flip through this to guide us. We don't present. We're not here to present. It's not like we're performing a play, although you are an actor, okay? You're an actor. You are a psychologist. You're playing a psychologist, right? In our sales process, you're an actor on a stage. You're playing the part of a psychologist helping out a patient. That's the part you're playing. It's not a memorized script, but it's improvised along the lines of the ATM process, which you flip through. You point to stuff, and then you ask questions. That's what this is. Okay, it's a simple thing. It's an awesome thing. Thank God we have it. All right, but it's not a presentation. It's a planned conversation. All right, so here's the process. Most of y'all know what the process is about. What I'm going to focus on today is the pain process. And what the pain process is designed to do is designed to casually, without them knowing, taking them from a logical state of mind in the buying process all the way to an emotional state of mind. See, people buy on emotion, they justify it with logic. But everyone starts off logical. So the part of the process of the pain is asking them tough questions. You got to ask the tough questions that they have not. Did I spell that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sometimes stuff looks weird. You ask the tough questions, personal questions, questions where they got to be a little bit vulnerable to you with how they're feeling about stuff. Now, the only way you're allowed to ask deep questions is if you created strong bond rapport. The stronger this is, the stronger this will be. The tougher the questions you can ask to get them into an emotional mind state. Emotional. You want them to buy on emotion. And so the whole process of asking pain, okay, is they start off feeling, well, they're just going to get rates from you. They're going to, they're going to give you some water. They're planning on stealing your rates. Okay, they got their game plan, but your game plan is to get them from feeling well, to get them to feeling sick, to get them, putting them on their deathbed. They're terminal right now, okay? And then you get them to feeling back to well again, because that's why you're there. You're going to help them with that situation. So we call this kind of the pain funnel. It's really a funnel when you think about it. It's the pain funnel. And stuff kind of, what you're doing is you're drilling down deeper and deeper and deeper. So the rule of thumb with pain finding is if you can get to asking 10 questions, chances are you're going to be able to find the pain, the real pain. Sometimes you don't have to go to 10 questions, but you got to be willing to ask 10 questions. So I get this question all the time, Alex, how can I possibly ask 10 questions about their pain? Oh my gosh, gang, it is so easy. Because the mindset you have to get into is the psychologist mindset, all right? So what is that mindset? Notice, and I don't know because I've never been through therapy. Okay, I probably need to go to therapy. Actually, this is all the therapy I need is the alliance. But what I've seen on TV, okay, is they stick the client on the couch and then they ask them a bunch of questions. They're asking questions. What's that movie? Gosh, I forgot that movie. Good Will Hunting? I remember. Anyway, the guy gets the patient, quote unquote patient, just to open up. They ask them question after question after question. And it's almost like the therapist isn't doing anything but listening. They're just asking questions. And the person's opening up and they're going through that self-discovery of what is wrong with them or what issues they're trying to deal with. Well, you're playing the same part in the sales process. You're asking questions. You're closing by asking questions. The beautiful thing about asking questions is that you are in control. When you ask questions, you're in control. And the beautiful thing about questions is that people are always compelled to answer a question. Now, I know it happens to you because when your clients start asking you questions, you are out of control. They say, well, okay, let's just cut to the chase. I mean, you don't have to go through that. I know what I want. Okay, how many of you got sucked in by that? You don't have to go through this whole lengthy presentation, blah, blah. I just give me the rates. I'm going to make a decision. They're just going to hustle you through. Again, they're taking you through this process, and you get all nervous. You're getting all nervous, like, oh, my God, I don't know how to handle this, because you're not strong enough mentally to deal with the client. You're going, in your mind, the fallacy you're dealing with in your mind is client's in control. The client's not in control. You're in control. Well, I got to please the client. The client is the one I'm trying to please. I got to, the customer is king. You fall into the trap. The customer is king. Yeah, the customer isn't king. You're king. Okay? You are king. You're the benevolent dictator. Okay? Let's kind of reframe this. You're the benevolent dictator. But the only way you know what's good for them is by finding out what is up with them. It's like, something like when you get that from a client, what I do is say, Joe, look, I appreciate you wanting, that's why I'm here. I'm going to give you all the rates. I'm going to give you all your options. But it's kind of like your doctor. Like when you go to the doctor, always use analogies. I love the doctor analogy. When you go to your doctor, Joe, do you tell the doctor, what you think is wrong with you because you looked it up on WebMD, and you know exactly the medications? I need amoxicillin. I need 14 days of amoxicillin. I need to take one pill a day for straight 14 days. And so write the script. I'm out of here. It's like, Joe, Is that how you work with your doctor? Or when you go to your doctor, does your doctor ask you questions? Does he ask you, so what happens when you're like in this situation? And then he's checking you out. He's putting a stethoscope on you. Okay, breathe in, deep breath. Or he's putting his hand somewhere and making you cough. Okay. I think guys understand what I'm talking about with that one. But they are examining you. And so when I go, Joe, that's how this process works. I got to take long. Okay, we're going to get to what you need to know, but I need to know some stuff about you first. So you're like on page 10, I'm on page 2. Okay, so give me a few minutes. We'll get there, I promise. I'm taking control, man, because I am the benevolent dictator. They are my loyal subjects. I'm trying to help. Okay? So the customer is not king in this system. You are, all right? But you're, like I said, benevolent dictator. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to y'all. And so you just ask questions, and then you get the process rolling. And at the end of the pain, and you have to go through this, and you got to learn it over and over and over again, right? You're going to feel when it's the right time to move on to the next compartment, which is the upfront contract, all right? So that's kind of a quick thumbnail. I've got some really deeper videos on pain finding questions, but let's kind of play around, and let's role play with some folks here. Okay, so Cord.
No.
Cord. Hello, Cord.
Yes, I'm here.
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I muted you. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Am I echoing at all?
No.
Okay. See, the system, I checked it out with Yuval and Harry. Okay, so, we've done bond rapport. And you pick what kind of lead this is, just based on your questions. And let's let Heath, we're going to make you the client. I'd rather, is Heath on? Hey, Heath.
Hello.
Hey, Heath, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. So we're going to have you and Cord role play pain. So you're the client, Heath, and Cord is the doctor. Okay, and don't get too crazy. Just kind of roll with it a little bit, and like pretend your wife's there. And so I'm gonna. So Cord just got out of the bond rapport, and so Cord. Okay, it's real quiet, so I'm just gonna leave everyone unmuted. So Cord, go ahead and roll with how you would do the pain questions with Heath.
All right. So let's just say this is a mortgage protection. So Heath, let me ask you: if something happened to you tomorrow, and you got a car wreck and you didn't make it home, would your wife be able to continue to make this mortgage payment and all the other bills y'all currently have? No. All right, yeah, that's tough. Well, let me ask you this: if you didn't have anything in place and it did happen tomorrow, what would they do? Does your wife have family that she would allow her and your child to move in with, or do you think they'd have to move from where they currently live and into the park?
She wouldn't be able to afford the house, and the bank would probably end up having to take it over, I guess.
Man, okay. Now you just told me that your house was worth about $160,000, and that you only owe about $120,000 on it. So and you've got $40,000 of equity, and based on the incomes that you showed me that you make and she makes, you basically realize that she can't take over this mortgage payment and all the other bills. And you know the bank is still going to want that payment made after you die. And after a few months, 3 to 4, 5 months down the road, if she's unable to make that payment, they will foreclose, and sadly, they'll keep all that equity that you built up. How's that make you feel?
Don't make me feel too good knowing that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I definitely don't want that to happen to you, which is why I'm here today. We're going to put something in place that's going to alleviate that need and that burden on their part. And let's go through now and look at the different scenarios.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, Cord. Wow, I didn't know that. So this is good to do. Okay, so let me explain it like this. People, when you're talking and you're stating stuff, what they're going to do is it puts them in a judgment seat of determining whether to believe you or not. So like when you say the sky is blue, they determine whether or not they agree with you whether the sky is blue. Does that make sense? Yeah, man, it's cold in here. And then they have to agree or disagree. In other words, anything that comes out of your mouth that states something is something for them to determine whether they trust you or not. I don't like people judging what I say as truthful or not truthful. I ask them all the questions so that because people don't object with stuff coming out of their mouth. When they say stuff, they don't object to stuff they say, right? Which is the advantage you have when asking questions. So you told them how equity, and you told them about the foreclosing process, and you started explaining, how smart you are about the foreclosure process. And then you ask them, so how do you feel about that? So it's kind of like saying, Tom Brady is the best quarterback in football. Bill Belichick's the best coach in football. They've got like the best receivers, the best tight end. They're okay. So now they're going to the Super Bowl. How do you feel about that? I mean, you're trying to establish all these things, and the guy's saying, well, yeah, maybe he's the best, and maybe they do have good receivers. You know what I'm saying? So here's kind of questioning to get to the same place you're getting, but I'm asking this question. So the part, okay, so let me just do it with you, Heath. So Heath, tell me, how long you guys lived in the house?
We lived in our current home 5 years.
5 years, wow. What did you like about the house when you saw it?
My wife liked it.
Your wife, you know what? That's probably a good idea. Whatever the wife likes, I like too. Anyway.
She liked the bathroom.
Okay.
This is true, by the way.
All right. So I noticed that when we talked a little bit earlier about how much you make, how much the wife makes. It's like you make. You're telling me you make about 60%, about 65% of the income, household income, and she makes the rest of it, 35%, I think. Right? Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So take me back to when you filled the form out. What were you like? What was in your mind when you filled the form out?
I was thinking to see if I could get anything to cover the cost of this mortgage in case something were to happen to either one of us.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you more about that. So let's say, you're on I-95, visiting some family just by yourself, and a car crosses over and you get killed on a head-on collision. Obviously, you're not going to be around. Your wife and kids are going to be grieving. But your 65% of the household income, does that immediately stop, or is there some provisions where your income keeps coming in?
Well, you might have something come in from work, but I don't really think I have anything at all, to be honest. So I'm pretty sure 5% will go away.
Oh, wow. So now your family has to live on 30% of the household's income. Is that going to be tough for them?
Unmanageable.
Wow. So instead of $75,000 a year, they're probably living on about $25,000 a year, $22,000 a year, I think, on my calculations, just on her income.
Yep.
Oh man. So when is the mortgage payment due every month?
The 5th.
The 5th. And what is that mortgage payment again? I know you told me, but I forgot what it was.
$1,000.
$1,000 a month. Wow. So she'll only make maybe $1,800 a month. The mortgage is $1,000 a month, which leaves her about $800. I mean, do the math, just to live on. So how's she going to make that mortgage payment and keep the household going?
She can't. She's got to marry up.
Yeah. But let's assume she doesn't. She can't just find someone to marry right away. I'm sure you guys have savings. So how many months do you think she could cover the mortgage with your savings?
No, we don't have any savings.
Well, I'm sure you could probably get some family members to chip in a month or two of mortgage payments.
That would be very hard.
Pardon me?
That would be very hard.
That'd be very hard. Okay. You don't have like a rich uncle or somebody that can help you all out?
No.
So how long do you think it would take for the bank to foreclose on you and force you to get out of the house?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've had some friends go through that, and it's anywhere from 6 to 9 months from what I've seen. Let's just say it's a year. Let's say your wife has a year, and then the sheriff comes and says she's got to move out a year from now, right? So where does she go? What's her game plan to continue?
I have no idea. I have no idea what she'll do.
Would she move in with family? Like I'm sure her parents will take the kid her and the kids, right?
No, there's no family. We have no family around here.
Oh wow. Well, where do you live?
She has an immediate family in Virginia, and my immediate family is in South Carolina.
Wow. So no game plan. So, okay, so then this might turn to your wife. Actually, I'd love to do this with you. Well, like if your wife was really good, I would do this with the wife. Okay, but I'm dealing with you just that point here, just to let you guys hear what kind of questions. So, you don't have a game plan. So, in other words, what I'm hearing you tell me is that if you don't take care of this, it's a bad situation for your family. Is that right? Well, what happened? Looks like Keith ejected. Can anyone hear me?
All participants are unmuted.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I lost Keith. All right.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey,
Keith,
can you hear me?
back? Okay. Cord.
Hello.
Hey, Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Cord, do you see how different that is from what you did?
Yes.
You were cutting to the chase, and I was taking my time. The pain process takes a little time. If you're gonna, I don't even know how many questions I asked. Does anyone keep track how many questions I asked?
Yeah.
Was that like, that was close to 10, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I did interject some things in there, like, I've had some people go through this, and, but let's just say it's a year. Is that fair? That maybe she has a year before they take the house? Like, gang, I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm saying before they take the house, you've got about a year before they take the house, before they foreclose. Man, I don't make it sound, I don't fluff it up. I say the word. Now, I'm nurturing. I'm not a jerk when I ask these questions, okay? I'm not a jerk. You have to be nurturing when you ask the questions. You're not trying to be a jerk. You're just asking very softball questions in a very nurturing way to get them to the point where they are totally sick. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Karen Musil. Hello, Karen. Hey, Karen's busy.
Hey, Alex.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
Okay, good. Are you able to talk?
Yes, I can right now.
Okay, great. So, tell me about your pain process. Like, what is it going on in your mind when you're asking the pain questions?
I'm asking the pain questions when I get to that page. Okay, I'm hearing an echo. The other thing I'm doing,
Participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
okay, what I'm doing is listening to what they're saying to me. For example, met with a client this morning, and she said, it was an odd lead. It was a call-in lead for life insurance information. So I'm like, okay, how did you get our number in the first place? But didn't go into that, just you want life insurance. Tell me why it's important to you type of thing. And she said she's lost 2 people recently. And then we started talking, and I asked her, as we're going through things, I said, when we got to the page of basic funerals, 12,000, I said, now, I don't know if that's what it's cost when you've had these recent burials that you've had to do. And she just kind of shook her head. She said, we still haven't got my cousin in the ground. It's been more than a month. And she said her arms are so sore because they have been stripping wires to sell the copper to raise money to pay for this cousin's funeral.
Unbelievable.
And she used to, my client used to have life insurance, but doesn't anymore. And so she knows she's got 3 daughters in her 30s. She needs to have life insurance because she sees what they're going through right now to pay for this 50-year-old unexpected death of a cousin.
Here's why I love that, because when you open up the question, so why did you respond? I don't even know how she responded, but how did you find out about us? What caused you to, put a response in? And then it just opens it up. And when they say stuff like what she's saying, I'm like just sitting there going, oh man, really? Wow. Oh, yeah. I'm just reacting.
Right.
And I'm just letting them talk. And I might say another question just to keep them talking.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Again, I want them to tell me what's wrong. I want to keep them talking. The more I can keep them talking about, so how did you feel if that happened here where we didn't take care of this today, and you have a heart attack tonight, and you're in the same situation where your family has to strip the copper out of your house to sell, how'd that make you feel? There you go, the feeling question.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what I go back to remember when I'm doing the pain is way back when I started, before we had ATM, before we had anything, my note in my folder was ask, don't tell. Because I totally started this in the wrong perspective of I need to be the expert. I have to tell them what they should do. I have to tell them what's going to happen. And that is not my job when I'm in that home. My job is to ask questions and find out what they need, why they need it, how I can help them. It's their job to tell me things and me to ask more questions.
Yeah, I think that kind of analyst accountant in you kind of, maybe you felt, I think early on, you felt like you had to explain stuff to them so they could understand, and then they pick an option and do it. And then you transitioned into like the ask, don't tell, because you found that this was more beneficial, right?
Much.
To say the least.
It works.
It works. It works. I know it works. So, like I said, going back, and we're going to shut this down now, but it was good to kind of hear Cord go through it, and then, again, confirmation from Karen. This is all about asking. The more you tell, the worse it is. The more you ask, the better it is. And it takes practice. It takes practice. You got to practice, and get bolder and bolder. I'm not saying become a jerk. Become bolder with asking the tough questions in a nice, nurturing way, right? And it'll be a field thing. When you get that silence, I love silence. When I ask a question, so how long do you think you can stay in the home before the bank takes your house? I shut up. I let them squirm. I let them think about it. I don't say, I use silence as the most powerful closing tool. Because when you're silent, they feel compelled to fill the silence with something, right? I'm sure you've run into people that are like that. They don't say much, and then you feel like you have to say more. That's the technique I'm talking about, even though it's uncomfortable. Like, I don't care. I'll ask a question. I'll sit there. I don't care if we're sitting there 3 minutes, 5 minutes staring at each other. I'm not saying a word until they answer the dadgum question. Remember, you're the benevolent dictator here. Anyway, thanks, Karen. Any other tips for you people out there on pain finding?
Like you said, Alex, be nice, but be brave enough to keep asking questions. I think one of the biggest mistakes that is so easy to make is you get one piece of pain and you're like, done, move on.
Absolutely. I tell you what, you just keep asking. Keep asking. I like asking the wife. I ask the person who's got the worst financial situation, and like I did the stuff with Keith, but I'd be asking the wife those questions. And the wife I say, okay, Heath, you're dead. Mary, oh man, what's your wife's name? Anyway, so Mary, and then I ask Mary those questions. It's more effective. And then after I feel like I've totally rugged the pain out, then I go to Heath, I go, okay, Heath, you're alive today. How does that make you feel that your wife and kids are going to have to go through that? Then I zip it. And I let him decide to be the hero. He'll say something like, I don't feel very good about that. That's why you're here. I go, yeah, absolutely, that's why I'm here. And that's the transition. Once you get through every bit of pain, then you say, that's why I'm here. I'm going to make sure, Joe, we're taking care of this now, so when I leave here, this will never happen to your wife and children. You just closed it. You just closed the sale. It's done, right? Except for finding the premium. Anyway, remember, bond rapport, the only way you can ask tough questions if you got strong rapport, bond rapport with the patient, okay? And then you can ask the tough questions, man. If you get these two down, man, your closing rates are going to go through the roof, I promise. It's not going to 100%, but it'll go to about 70 to 75%. It's about where I've seen the best closers, all right? Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. Any questions?
All participants are unmuted.
Any questions? Any comments? All right, gang. Let's get out there and let's hammer it, man. Appreciate y'all. And all you new people, get fired up. You're doing some good stuff here that will help you make money with us. And if you're just like on the verge of getting leads or you've got your brand new leads, call me early and often, and we'll prepare you for all those appointments. Rock on. Take care, everybody. God bless.